Hi everyone, my name's Deborah Carroll and I'm a cross stitcher, and this is my third Flosstube. I want to welcome everyone that has come back, that subscribed before and liked and came back to see me. I'm so happy that you've come back, and thank you so much for subscribing and liking my channel. I've had several people that have shouted me out on their channels, and I want to thank them in just a minute. But I also want to welcome the new people that are just viewing in. I'm just somebody who loves to cross stitch. I've done it for many, many years, and I pretty much cross stitch every day. If I'm not cross stitching, I'm either sick or something's going on. So something really important. So I do work, but I stitch. I stitch mostly in the evenings or late afternoons and evenings. So I want to thank those who gave me a shout out. Brenda and Laura of Brenda and the Serial Starter were so nice to shout me out on a couple of their episodes of Flosstube. I'm sure everyone watches them. Everyone who cross stitch knows Brenda and Laura. And I just wait every other Sunday to see what they've got to offer and what they've got to say. And I wish I was just sitting there right in their living room or study or wherever it is they're at. I wish I was there. Also, I want to make a shout out to Sarah of Sarah's Stitchy Spot. She's a little more of a newcomer. Maybe she's been on a year, but if you haven't gone to watch her, go to Sarah's Stitchy Spot. She's such a sweet person, lovely person, and was so kind to give me a shout out, and I love everything she works on, and you will enjoy watching her. Also, Michelle from Bendy Stitchy, she has given me a couple of shout outs over the year, and I really appreciate that. I met her at the March Market here in Franklin, right outside. I'm in Nashville, so I'm close to that. And I went over and I met her, and she is the sweetest person. She was absolutely the most welcoming person to me that I met there. I will have to say she and Grace Notes Fabrics, those two just welcomed me in and made me feel at home with cross stitchers. So I want to thank her for that. And I'm a member of her Patreon, so you might want to check her out. Okay, the items that I'm going to go over today, to kind of just give you a list of what I'm going to do, is I've got an item here I want to show you, which is an item I can't do without while stitching. I've got a couple of new starts. I've got some whips. I've got some upcoming projects, and I've got a giveaway at the end, a couple of giveaways. So I hope you'll like everything that you see. The first thing, we always show our calendars. This is a calendar I use. It's a 2-year calendar. It's kind of the same as all the ones you see other people using, in that you've got your calendar days, and then you've got where I write at the beginning of each month. I go over here and I write, here are the whips that I've got to, not the whips, but the start-alongs, the sals that I'm working on. So I know I've got certain days of the month that I'm going to start and work on those, and I put those here. Then I've got whips that I'd like to get to after those are finished, after the sals are finished. Then I've got other things that are whips that I haven't been to in a while, but if I get a wild hair, I'll move over and work on one of those. And then I've got things that I'd like to start, just suggestions. And so I put down just what I worked on each day. And I'm one of those, I work on one thing a day. I don't break it up and work on, excuse me, and work on one thing one day and one thing another. Excuse me. Had that wild hair. Something I was hoping you guys would be able to help me out on. I bought something. I don't know how old it is, but it's this. It's stitched on silk gauze. Stitched with silk, I think. And I do not know what pattern this is or if it's real old. I have a feeling it's probably not that old, but I'm just wondering if anyone knows what this pattern is or have seen it. I'd just like to know, since I have it. I like it. Came in this frame, so I have it sitting downstairs. I love it. The thing that I can't do without is my DMC book. You can get this on the DMC website. I think it's a good price there. I do want to tell you, there are two versions of this book. One has just the like painted colors. This one actually have flosses. I'm going to put it up close so you can see. It actually has the flosses. Not the painted on color or the picture of the color. You can actually see the threads. So you really get a good idea. I've read all those threads colors are because they're right there for you. There's another side. And I use it in a couple of different ways. On the back page, it even has the blended variegateds. But on the back page, it gives the numbers. Gives the numbers here. And so you can go and find the number. It'll tell what column it's in. And so you go to that column, whatever number it is you picked. You can go to that column. And let's say I picked 223. It has column 16. So I go and I found on column 16, I go down and I found 223 right there. So you can kind of see what color it is. Now, when you look at a skein of floss, sometimes you don't know kind of what color value it has. It may look brown against some things. It may look reddish. It may look purplish. It's, you know, you don't know. Well, this gives you the good range of where it is coming from. This is its color family. And a couple of things I do for this is, one, if it calls for this color and I don't have it in my DMCs, and maybe this piece, I'm just not going to go out and buy another because there's not enough of this 223 in the piece that it's going to make a difference. I may say, I'll just go in that same color family. I'll go down here and get a darker color, or I'll use a lighter color. And that is what I use it for most of the time. Another thing I use it for is I'm going to do I'm going to take my DMC color list and I want to switch it over into silks or into overdyed threads. I will use this, and it's more easy for me to take this, and maybe I don't have that 223, but take this over. It's all I need, and lay the thread against it and say what would be a good match. And I can pick them all out with this one book. So it's worth all the money to me. I will say I first got the book that was the cheaper one that just had like the picture of the colors in it. I couldn't use it. It just didn't work. You really need to get this one that has the real thread in it. It's just like the other one, but it costs a little bit more. And it's worth it, totally worth it. So that's my find of what I can't live without. Okay. Now I've got a couple of things that I started this month. You know, a lot of people were into May Mania, and I wasn't into starting 31 pieces or 30 pieces or 15 pieces, but I did kind of let myself go a little crazy and start a couple of pieces, even though I need to finish some of my whips I have. The first thing is that I started Tree of Hope by Mirabilia. Now this is a beautiful piece. I'll show it to you a little closer up. I'm not shaking hands. I saw a finish of this on the Huga Stitcher, Flosstube. And I thought it was beautiful. So beautiful. It's really where I saw, I don't think I'd seen it anywhere else. Don't know why, but I saw it there. And if you want to go, she has a great floss tube. It's a Hugo Stitcher with my shaky hands. Tree of Hope, and I got the kit from 123 Stitch. They had a kit there with the fabric and the flosses, and it had the really beautiful colors in here are, what are they? Water lily silks. I'd never used them before. They're wonderful. Their colors are vibrant. That blue-green variegated, that is water lily. It's beautiful. So I started on the tree. And as you can see, the tree will go on up, and then we'll get some lighter colors up in the middle of the top tree and come down. But started with the tree. The fabric is stiff, which is not something I normally use, but it was certainly easy to work on, so no problem there. So working on Tree of Hope by Mirabilia. And it's got beads, and I've never done beads before. So I'm gonna count on some of my stitchy friends to help me out with the beads. I've already got the needles for them, but that's a new one for me. The second one I started was this one, Margaret Dole. What's that, 1850. This is from Hands Across the Sea. And it's such a lovely little piece there. It really is smaller than you think. I love the little girl sitting there. I love the blues and the reds of the flowers. And I mean, she called out for some of the silks and things, but I just got the DMC, and it's looking great with the DMC. So here's my start. Now that is there's a better color of the fabric. It's a yellowish. But the reds and the blues really do come through on that. Now, I got the fabric. I think I got this kind of as a kit, and it came with this sticker with the fabric, and I think it's from Kindred Stitcher. Hard to remember because I've had it for a while. But the one thing about this piece that is different is that there's a lot of what I call confetti stitching. Even though you've got a lot of, it looks like you've got a lot of red there, there's like 2 or 3 different colors of red in there. And the most you'll get is 6 colors in a line, 6X cross stitches in a line, and then go over here and go over there. I really miscounted in this. This bud and this flower should be down a little and a little bit over this way. So I had to fudge it. I was not going to start over. And this is now in place with the border, so it's correct. But that's just, I don't know. It's going to be a little out there. But also, this is not big. This, if you'll look, this blue flower is in the middle. So that's already, we passed the middle mark. So it's only going to go over to about here and then go down. So it's a small piece. I enjoyed it. I did 2/2 on this 36 fabric. I'm not sure of the fabric name. Just had this in the bag with it. But I tried 1/2 on the 36, and it was just too sparse. The 2/2 looks pretty thick, but I had no problem stitching it, and that's all I need to know is how does it stitch. Okay, some of my whips. Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. I just have it as a PDF, but you've got the idea here of this one. I worked on that gate next to the house and the flower up above it. There's a lot of full coverage stitching in there. this fabric is also more stiff than I like, but there's no problem stitching on it. So hopefully I'll get some more stitching this next month on that. Remember Me by Teresa Kogut. She released it in March 2023, but it was a September 2022 Patreon release. And the fabric is 32 count white chocolate linen. And I'm using the DMC's 2/2. Okay, the next one is Spring Quaker. And this is Spring Quaker. I've got a board here. Let's see if it'll do better on a board. The fabric is a little pinkish. I don't know if this is going to show it. Maybe there. It's kind of a light pinkish fabric. And I worked a lot on the tree. I really came across here, worked on the tree and some of these houses, finished the handle. Here's the problem with this. I've got a lot to finish, and we've got a sale coming up for the Summer Quaker that Leela Studio just released. And so I need to finish this one before I get to the Summer Quaker. So I basically have a little bit of a house here and all this around here to finish before that starts on August 1. So I've got a lot of work. I've got to bear down and work on this one. Again, Spring Quaker. And you can see the pink color there pretty good. I do not iron mine every time because I don't want to flatten my stitches. And so at the end I'll iron it for you. All right. The next one was a start also, really. This is Margarita Seepkins. And get my stuff straightened out here. Margarita Seepkins, which is a reproduction put together by Becca Murphy, Sambry Stitches. And here is the pattern. And if you watched on my Flosstube before, you know that I really wanted to do it because of the ship. Because of some things it reminded me about my dad. So I chose to do Fiber on a Whim, Milk and Honey. And this is where I started with the ship. And I'm liking it. Then I'm going to go up to the top middle. The ship was the bottom middle. This is the top middle. I'm going to work my way across. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at the bottom. Show you this a little close up. Cute little people. Standing on the boat. Since it's in memory of my dad, I don't think I'm going to do the year or what's down here. So I just went ahead and put a little of the water in to see where that came. And I think I'm going to put something, my dad's names or initials or dates somewhere down here. But I will be moving up to this middle part with the flower. And if you follow me on Instagram, Deborah Carroll Stitcher, I have put this up where I kind of marked it into sections. This is kind of what I do for myself when I start a piece. And I don't mark through motifs. I try to go around them. I hate when somebody marks through a motif and says, just go to that and stop halfway through. I can't do that. So I number them, but they mean nothing other than I started on section 5, then I'm going to go up to 2, and then who knows where else I'll go. I'll probably go over to 1. But again, I made a lot of changes about the colors because the colors, a lot of these rope places where there are ropes, where there are ropes going across, were all in white, and it just didn't show up. You know, it only shows up white if you have a couple of either a couple of rows of the white, or if there are other colors on either side of it. So because of the fabric I picked, I just chose other colors. I just kind of got, you know, crazy and went out there and chose whatever color I wanted out of the colors of the silks that Janine from Acorns and Threads sent me. I have some other, they're MPIs, and I had some other MPIs, so I just kind of picked and went with the same color scheme. But if yours looks a little different from mine, it's because I kind of moved the colors around. But I had a lot of fun doing it and thought about my dad a lot. So here's the colors I've got kind of working with. So they're good. Great colors. That's Margarita Sypkens. Sypkens. All right. My next whip I worked on was Red Deer Sampler by GGR. I started this in March as my birthday start. My birthday was in March. So I used 36 count Fox and Rabbit Saltbush linen, and I used the called for flosses 2/2. You see that color? I just think it's beautiful. The colors of the fabric, colors of the threads. Here's the chart. So you can see there's a lot of vibrant red in it. And I really love that. And that border. If something has a beautiful border, I am really drawn to it. I'm one of those that likes beautiful borders, and I like to do the borders. So again, I'll give you a shot of this where I'm at. Beautiful piece. Excited about seeing it come together. And I did it as a Christmas start because my husband had gotten it for me a year before for my birthday. So I kind of had to start it. All right. A sal that I'm working on is, if you're a member of Teresa Kogut's Patreon, level 4, she has a sal each year that it's kind of a mystery sal, so you don't know what's coming next. And this is called the Simple Life sal. And here it is so far. This is the 3rd month we're in. The 1st month went to here, and then the 2nd month. And then this 3rd month I have not finished. I got to finish some things here. I've got a couple of bee skeps I've got to put here. The beginnings of a house here. Like I say, I hate to start a house and just be halfway, or 3 or 4 vertical columns in it and then stop. But this comes out the 15th of each month. So it'll come out in a couple of days, and I'll probably get going on it and finish this and go wherever she takes us on the next part. So it's an 8-month sal. So I predict there'll be another part here, probably with a border there, and then we'll start going down below. That's Teresa Kogut. If you're not a member of your sal, it's great. You get 3 or 4 great pieces every month for being in her sal. And there's nothing she does that is bad. So another sal I joined along with was from Little Dove Designs. It's the first thing I've done from Little Dove Designs. I'm kind of switching this room around. It's still in the midst of being cleaned out from an office to go into a stitchy room. And I wanted some more stitchy things. I have this thing that's probably 25 years old that I did for my sewing room. But I wanted something for here. And so this is called the sewing room Sal. And I just started this. I think it finishes in July. And it comes out the first of the month. So we've got June and July. We've got 2 more months. I'm doing it on Witchell Golden Needle Linen and the call for DMCs that she gave. So I think it's cute. It'll go great in this room. And the last whip I worked on is Sunnyside Sampler. This sampler, I've kind of got behind on a little bit because it's just not something that is drawing me to it. This was started by some ladies who went to Stitch West, and I didn't go to Stitch West, but they started this. It's from the Drawn Thread, Sunnyside Sampler, and there is the piece. So I'm to about, where am I at? Right here. I have a lot of this down here to go and some things up there and the cat. So I'm behind a little bit, but that's okay. You know, I'll get in the mood someday and do it. It's done on 32 count natural undyed linen with the dinky dyes that came with it. I ordered it from the Drawn Thread. Oops. Okay. There's that. Now I want to get to some items that are going to be coming up. Remember I showed you the spring sampler and the spring Quaker, and I said I wanted to get through that so that I could start the summer Quaker. This is the summer Quaker that Leela Studio just came out with at market this year. And the Huga Stitcher and some of her stitchy friends are planning to start a sale on this August 1st. So if you go over and watch the Huga Stitcher, again, Hygge Stitcher, then you will get all the information about the sale. But I want to start this August, and I went ahead and got the called for fabric, which is, I'm doing 40 count, and this is Latte by Fiber on a Whim. So that's going to be wonderful. Again, what's great about it? There's a ship again. I'm into ships for my dad. You've got a mermaid, whale, lobster down here. You've got all sorts of things. So this one should be fun to stitch in it and see what comes up next. And as I showed on one of my last floss tubes, is that I got this fabric. This fabric came from Grace Notes Stitches, Grace Notes Designs. And it's a dark brown. I don't know if I can really tell the color really well, but it's a dark brown. It looks darker than what you're seeing, I think. It's called Oh John. and had showed a few pieces that I thought I might want to do on this fabric. And so I've decided to start this one, Wildflowers by Kathy Barrick. Try to get closer up on that. I think that fabric will look great on this. So I went to pull some threads. We do have Nashville Needleworks, which is more of a needlepoint store, but they do have lots of flosses, threads, silks. And so I went there, and they didn't have all of the, they didn't have all of the Glorianas that it called for. So I got some water lilies, silks. I got some dinky dyes. The problem was it called for a few DMCs, and I thought, I'm not going to do silks and then do DMC with the silks. I just wanted it all to be silks. So this color matched the DMC that it called for just perfectly, the dinky dyes. But in case it's too dark, I got a different Gloriana, which is a lighter. And I got some other colors. It calls for a brown for like the trunk, and I wasn't sure which one of these would go with the fabric well, so I got both of those. So I've got some other colors, but I'm going to start that, so I'll be able to show you that the next time as I start to put some of the fabrics on it, the threads on the fabric. I'm just so interested in starting it. I have not done anything on a dark fabric like that except for a black, so I'm very interested in starting that, seeing how it looks. Again, that's a Kathy Barrick design. Sorry, keep dropping things. That's a Kathy Barrick design, Wildflowers. And you know, I haven't seen that out there with people working on it. I'd love to be able to see if someone has worked on that, if they will send me a picture or somewhere, Instagram or anywhere, point me to where I can see anyone that's worked on it, because it's not one of those you see a lot out there. Another thing I've got coming up is the wedding. My oldest son is getting married in October, and I had showed you guys this design that I had thought about doing for them. And the more I looked at it, I really didn't like all this stuff around here. What I liked was this right here, because I could see this being in a beautiful frame sitting on a table somewhere at their wedding and at, you know, wedding showers. So what I did, I pretty much cut out the pattern. I cut out the pattern to where I have just this. And what I think I'm going to do is do this, and then down here have a portion that's going to have their names and the date for the wedding. And I got that in a kit, so I will be using the threads that came in that kit. But I kind of started it and I said, you know, I don't like all this. This is what I like. So we'll see how that goes. I hope it works out. And I hope they like it. Another thing I'm going to work on is, this is a piece where I had started one of Teresa Kogut's designs on a fabric using threads that I just didn't really like how it turned out, so I restarted it. And I think I'm going to take this and somehow make this into 1 or 2 pillows, maybe 3 pillows, because I'm not going to take all that out, and I don't want it to just go to waste. I mean, it's got some cute things in here, cute flowers, a really nice house. It's got a butterfly in there. So I'll show you next time, but I'm gonna try to make some pillows out of that and then just put the rest of the fabric away. You know, you can do that. If you start something and you just say, this isn't working. And this is a huge piece. I've still got it as a whip. I've got probably 3/4 of it done on the other start that I did that I'm enjoying. But I knew I wasn't gonna like this, and it's a big piece. It wasn't gonna get finished. The fabric, kind of scratchy, itchy. So we'll see what we do with some pillows. Maybe we can kind of soften it up and make it look cute on the pillows. I did get some haul. And I got 2 pieces of fabric. One from Jen's Stitching Niche. I got Affogato, Fiber on a Whim. I think you can see the color pretty good there. Then I got from Tropical Stitches. You can go to tropicalstitches.com. I got the color Susanna and a 40 count. Now they may look similar, but they're not at all. These colors are not at all similar. That's not showing it well. But I put a bright red up against this color, Affogato. Looks great. Put it up against this color, not so much. This does more with a little more wine color to the threads, so you really have to be careful. And you can't tell what these fabrics look like online. It's so frustrating. You know, I can't get them here. I have to travel a long way to a shop, which maybe I will this next weekend, but you have to travel to be able to look at the fabric and feel the fabric, and so it's very frustrating. I feel everybody's pain on that, and then you maybe pick it and think it's perfect, and you get it home and it's not the color you thought. So so I just try to keep quite a few fabrics on hand so I can, you know, choose and pick when I go to do my next project. And have you ever done this? This is from 123 Stitch. I bought all of these. I don't know what they're for. I'm gonna have to start keeping a tablet or something that has, when I order something, what it's for. I'm sure these are all for some particular thing. And I don't know. Does anybody else do that? Or am I just weird? So, at any rate, I'll keep it around. Maybe it'll show up someday. And one last thing I'm thinking I want to do is this vanity sampler by Hello from Liz Matthews. I just love it. I love the colors. I know that she's got a sale going to do it. Somebody picked out a different colorway, but I like the colors that are here. I like the greens and blues and beiges. So if anybody has a sale coming up they know about on this piece, or wants to start it later on this year, I'm willing to join in. Again, it's Vanity Sampler that just came out in March. Hello from Liz Matthews. I got a piece of Stitchy Kindness. I can't believe it. Christy Jinx, C Jinx on Instagram, saw that I was trying to find this piece. Everybody was stitching on it there for a minute. And it's a Stitcher's Garden by Tiny Modernist. And I thought, oh, this would go great in my sewing room. That is a sewing room motifs there. And everywhere was sold out. I guess everybody had bought it. Everybody was stitching on it. And so she saw that I was looking for it. And she just texted me and said, hey, I've got it. I'll send it to you. And so she did. So it's so sweet to get that my first stitchy kindness from Christy Jinks. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Then I'm going to have a couple of giveaways, things that I've worked on and finished, and thought somebody else might enjoy having them. The first one is Scattered Seeds Samplers, Catherine Dickinson, 1840. Now, I've already done this one and finished it. It's in perfect shape. You've got your chart on the inside. So if someone wants this, just use the word seed, S-E-E-D. Use the word seed in your comment. You have to like and subscribe. Of course, I'm trying to, bring up my base. So like and subscribe and just say something with the word seed. All right. The next one I'm going to give away is a Prairie Schooler. This is Prairie Schooler Garden Samplers, and they've got 3 in there. This is not one of the original harder covers, but it is one of their reprints on the paper that's a little thicker. I did order it from a from like 1-2-3 Stitch or Happy Little Stitch Shop. Maybe that's where I got it, from Happy Little Stitch Shop. So if you would like to have this, then just use the word garden, and I'll be glad to send it to you. Again, you have to be on these giveaways. You have to be over 18. Not mention giveaway in the actual comment or prize or anything like that. The reason you have to be over 18, I know I support younger stitchers, but we have to get your mailing address, and so not allowed to do that till you're 18 or over. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it. I hope to come back and see you. It's been 3 weeks since I last saw you, so I hope it'll be less time before I come back again. But please, again, like and subscribe, leave me notes. I've listened to your comments, some of the comments about not being able to hear me, or just the quality of the filming. It's just, this has been a long process. I had my original Samsung Note that I was taking the filming on. It would only record up to 10 minutes at a time. That's just what Samsungs are. They're programmed to do. So I researched what's the best vlogging camcorder, and I bought that. And I didn't think the quality of the filming was very good. It was a little fuzzy, and people said they couldn't hear me. And I even tried it with an external mic. So I went out and switched my phone in for an iPhone, because I found that people that use the iPhones tended to get better quality videos. So whatever it is, if there's something you want to, be nice, but if there's something you want to make a note for me to tell me, please do. I will be happy to take that into consideration and try. I'm hoping each time I can make it better. Lighting has been another issue, so hopefully it's a little better this time. Hopefully next time it'll be even better. So my setup behind me, I'm going to keep working on that each time. So, I'm working on it, people, and I'm trying. So I'm so glad you came. See you next time.